coming to you live from the Salad and Fries studio. With me, your host, Centron, and my special guest. Oh my gosh. Hi, all of my Salad and Fries. Welcome to another fabulous episode of Salad and Fries. Don't forget, everyone, we love seeing you each and every week here on the Salad and Fries station. You can catch us at www.salad-in-fries.com. Don't forget, once you go to our website, you can always click on the YouTube link to view everything live. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel by going to saladandfries.com. On this video tonight, we asked you, once you finish watching it or even while you're watching it, to go ahead and like, subscribe, and share, because everyone deserves a little salad and fries. This month is National Women's History Month in the United States. So therefore, we are going to be celebrating all things women here in the United States on tonight's show of Salad and Fries by having three fabulous, epic leading women, as I like to call them, on my show tonight. We have three fabulous people. The first one we're going to bring to the stage is going to be Dr. Kimberly Angel Bryant, who is a South Carolina native born in Mullins, South Carolina, currently residing in Florence, South Carolina. Dr. Bryant is a licensed occupational therapist, author, adjunct instructor, regional and national public speaker, licensed healthcare administrator, and business owner of Bryant Consulting, LLC, where she consults with and contracts to local healthcare agencies and school districts for operational management, documentation auditing, and staff development and training. Angel centers her career on DEI advocacy and advancement, where she serves on the American Occupational Therapy Association DEI Committee, is a member of the Coalition for Occupational Therapy Advocates for Diversity and the National Black Occupational Therapy Caucus. Her most important position to date is being the proud boy mom of an energetic 4-year-old. And we're going to bring Dr. Angel Bryant to the stage. Yay! Hey, Angel.
Hi, everybody.
And our next guest that we're bringing to the stage is going to be the fabulous Yakima Rhinehart, possessing a passion to break cycles of multi-generational poverty and a heart for young people. Yakima Rhinehart, a former South Carolina radio news anchor, left radio to begin working in higher education and never looked back. In the years following, she's worked with both community and four-year colleges in higher ed policy and advocacy and diversity and inclusion. In line with her personal commitment to promoting tolerance and inclusion environments, Yakima has also been formally trained and certified in diversity and inclusion methodology by the National Coalition Building Institute. Yakima's core belief is that you must first and always lead with love. In that spirit, she has dedicated a great deal of her life's work into coaching and developing young people, emerging adults, and professionals to tap into their innermost talent, hone their communication skills, and step into their greatness. Bring it to the stage, Yakima Rhinehart. Hey. And last but not least, we're going to bring to the stage this fabulous young lady, Miss Courtney Young. Courtney is the CEO of Foresight Communications, a strategic public relations and marketing firm headquartered in Columbia, South Carolina. Courtney has spent more than 15 years serving the corporate and public sectors as the go-to expert in the field of minority business engagement, public information services, and cultural tourism marketing. Gifted in relationship building, she has demonstrated her gift and leadership for her clients, including the Medical University of South Carolina, Chicago Regional Transit Authority, Mecklenburg County Department of Social Services, City of Columbia, Hilton Head Island Gullah Celebration. I'm going to mess it up. Mitchellville's Juneteenth celebration, South Carolina Airports Coalition Small Business Fly-In, Women in Contracting Roundtables, and National Association of Minority Contractors, just to name a few. Courtney is an advocate for community service and diligently serves her community. Bring it to the stage, Courtney Young.
Hey.
Y'all so fabulous. Y'all bios are like pages on pages on pages, stacks on stacks on stacks, decks on decks on decks. I'm like, oh, they are beyond epic leading women. They're like, you know how we have the Miss Universe pageant? They're like the epic universe to the stars leading women. How about that?
How about that?
Thank you for that.
How about it?
I appreciate that.
I am so excited to have each and every one of you on today's show because each and every one of you have played some role, some important role in my life. And I am so glad to be on this trajectory with each of you because each of you are just beyond fabulous. But if y'all ready to hop into this, we're going to hop into this.
Let's do it.
We ready?
We ready.
So tonight we're just gonna fire off a round of questions. Don't forget, if you are watching, we are celebrating National Women's History Month with epic leading women. If you have a question for any of our panelists on today's show, please just drop them in. If you're on Facebook, you can drop your questions in and we'll be able to get them. And if you're on YouTube, we'll see them as well. We're gonna jump into these questions. We started with the fabulous Dr. Angel Bryant. I just like saying it that way, Dr. Angel Bryant.
I like
what
the way
is
you said it.
bring it to the stage. What is something or someone from your childhood that inspired you to become the woman you are today?
Honestly, I have to say the women in my family. I stand on the shoulders of greatness. My paternal grandmother was the principal at the Negro School in Mullins, South Carolina. So before there was integration, she was college educated and leading children and women. And then my mother was a guidance counselor and made sure that she helped guide and lead people into education. And I don't know, I just have tons and tons of great women to show me the way, and I was expected to be a leader. And quite honestly, I was told I was told when I was about 4 that I was going to be a leader. And I had a cousin who was an OBGYN, Paulette. And I remember thinking, I want to be like her. So that's what I decided I was going to do. And you should be careful how you impact people because I decided that I was going to be like her. And then I realized that, and I got told the other day, and you guys might kind of enjoy this story, but I was visiting Kanasha Clark, and she told me that I impacted her to become an OBGYN.
Wow.
That when I told her that it was my dream to become an OBGYN, she thought, do Black people really do that? I'm gonna do that too. And so she became an OBGYN. I did not. But you know, you just never know how you impact people and how your steps are ordered for them and how you help them walk in their divine purpose. And the women in my family have helped me to do exactly what I'm supposed to be doing today, which is leading other women in their divine purpose.
Well, they pretty much told you. They said, listen, now this is what we did. Now let me help you understand what you about to do. I think that's what we kind of need sometimes, to be told we're leading and I'm gonna need you to lead as well. There's no room for you to sit. You're coming from greatness and you will continue to create greatness to push greatness into the future. So I like that. Yakima, Courtney, either of you two?
I had a similar experience. I could look right within my family for influence from women. And what I love about my family, and in addition to the amazing women that they are, is that they cultivated strong female relationships and friendships. Yeah. So, you know, I have a village of aunties that, you know, went to college with my mom that are still my aunties today, or went to college with my cousins that are my family today in that way. So, you know, it's a part of who we are. And yeah, the expectation was set. There was no option. There was no consideration for an alternative either. It was like, this is what we do. Figure out your spot.
That
So,
part. Yakima.
Exactly. And I want to pick up on the thread that Courtney just threw out there, which is that connectivity, right? So both Angel, Angel got it from her family and then mentioned it, and then Kanasha picked up on that thread, right? I went to school with Courtney's family, right? So I'm happy that I am part of the cousin brought into the family mode, right? And it really is incumbent upon us not just to walk in our greatness, but to also make sure that we're leaving breadcrumbs and threads of our own. Not to mention being good sister women, right? Like there's a choice that I have to talk about in this Women's History Month about being a good girlfriend, right? And making a choice. I made a choice years ago that I was going to be a girl's girl. That no longer did it serve me or my purpose, nor was it cute to say, oh, I got more guy friends than I have girlfriends. Oh, I really don't get along with women. If you don't get along with women, then you need to figure out, why is it that you don't get along with women? Is it that you're not seeing yourself in your other sister woman? Are you intimidated by other women? Like really search yourself and figure out what that thing is. Because 9 times out of 10, the thing that leads you to not get along with other women is that there's a little bit of that other woman that you're intimidated by. And it really means, you know what, there might be some of that I need to go get. There's a role model that I need to kind of look up to and see how do I find myself in her.
Oh wow! See, he go. That's why I have y'all on here. Y'all on here dropping knowledge already. We just 12 minutes into the show. Come on. So Yakima, going back to you, like, what drives you to make like an impact in your community?
I mean, that's my job, right? Like, I wouldn't be sitting here if there weren't fellow sister women and brethren on this journey that have served me, right? Like, let's be clear. It's somebody who works and has worked in the philanthropy and advancement and fund development space. One of the things I hear over and over again is like, oh, Black people don't have that kind of money to give. We don't have the money that other schools have. I've worked for PWIs, I've worked for community colleges, I've worked for HBCUs. One of the things that we always discount is that we have a rich history of philanthropy within our communities, right? There is no way we could have survived slavery, post-slavery, the civil rights movement. We couldn't have survived any of those moments if it were not for the community holding up each other. The only ways that we were able to eat, or let's be clear, make it through the fields, is that somebody else was taking care of our kid while we were doing what we needed to do. And so that theme of giving back, who am I if I think that I am just going to receive from that rich legacy, but that there isn't anything that I have to give back? We say within our community all the time, to whom much is given, much is required.
Angel?
To pick up on what Yakima said, we are required to give back. I like to say, and my own personal quote is, representation is nice, but we're called to replicate ourselves. Until we start the replication process, we haven't done anything. So it's no longer enough for us to be able to stand in our places. We have to go back to our communities, and we have to teach, we have to guide, we have to mentor, we have to sow into our communities in time and effort and talent and funding and resources. And when we do that and we start to replicate ourselves, that is then how we make more of the leading women and leading men that we seek to develop. And so that's who we're called to be. It's great that we're called to be leaders for ourselves, or that we've all made it onto this great podcast. But until we can say that we have replicated ourselves, that's how I gauge my own success. How many OTs can I make?
That part. I'm like, Angel, you triggered a thought in my head. I was like, I've never thought of it from a perspective of replicating myself. I always thought it was okay, let me go and share um this education. Let me share what I experienced. Let me try to mentor and lead. But I never looked at it as replicating myself. And that makes sense because I think when you do replicate, that means that I've just shared that DNA that makes it more tangible, something that is going to last versus I just dropped the nugget and just left it. No, I planted a seed, I watered it, it's growing, it's developing. Oh my gosh, that's what I'm talking about because each of you have replicated yourself in some way, shape, form, or fashion in me. And I'm sure you can look at it and say, like Courtney, I'm sitting here doing this because I'm like, Courtney is like the beast when it comes to marketing. And then Yakima is like the mouth. Like, I do this. And then Angel, you're just like beyond knowledgeable. So I sit and be like, let me make sure I got all of this correct. So I pull all of you in, which is why you three are specifically on here because I'm like, I need to make sure I pull my community into this show so that they can see it. Courtney, is there anything that drives you to impact your community?
I mean, that's more than what the lady said. I mean, I believe in helping other people see their dreams. So I live by that. I built a business on that. And so anything I can do to share what I know with someone who wants to know more, I'm willing to do that. Now, I am particular about those who don't want to know more. I'm okay till you're ready, right? But when you're ready, I'm your girl. Until then, we good. But I'm ready. So for that, I think that, because time is precious and resources are too. And so as, the days go, it's not just like, we're sitting around twiddling our thumbs. We got to be, I believe in being intentional in that. And I really want to help people who want to help themselves in those spaces, or people who, and don't even, maybe they don't know how, or, maybe they're feeling like I can't do it right now. I can still be your girl for that. I'm happy to lean in and hold you up and rub your back, but as long as you want it, I'm here for you.
I'm here for it. So, Courtney, with that being said, what was a factor in you becoming your own boss? Like, what was that thing that said, you know what? This is what Courtney's going to do.
Well, I always like people. So in liking people, what I knew was that I originally wanted to be a nurse, then an engineer, a biomedical engineer. But then when I found out biomedical engineers are mostly in a lab, not really with people, I was like, oh, that's not going to work. Like, I got to actually talk to people. And so I kind of paused on that and I was like, well, what will I do? And this was in college, but I always knew I was going to work for myself. I mean, I'm a 4th generation entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship is not new to me. Both sets of grandparents were entrepreneurs. I mean, great grandparents, parents, and now me. So, it was never lost on me. I was going to do something like this. Exactly what I thought it was just consulting. I knew I wanted to do something different every day. I did not want to pull up my chair up to a desk and be there and exist in that space. It just did not work for me. And as over the last few years, I've really had to do some personal journeying on what that meant. And I was like, I think I always wanted freedom. I wanted the freedom of my time to do what I wanted to do. And so that's what it gave me. Now I did get an opportunity. I worked for someone else for 2 years, but I've been working for myself for most of my career. But for 2 years, I did work for a biomedical research and development company doing marketing. An opportunity came that replaced my salary after 2 years. And I was like, oh, today's the day. I need that box today. Thank y'all. Go.
I'm not coming back.
No. And I'm leaving. And it's 1:00 in the afternoon.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. And I still talk to the people. My old manager is still a great friend of mine, and all of that. But people respected that. So I always knew it was going to happen. I set a plan. I've always been very intentional, as all of you know. But I set a plan and I worked the plan, and it happened to happen a little sooner than expected.
Well, Angel, I know you have to go in a few. So tell us, not tell us, I'm stay on the same question. What was something that was like a big factor in you becoming your own boss? Because you are the she boss.
Um, well, I'm only my own part-time boss right now.
Mhm.
Let's be honest, because um, and it came out of the pandemic, just because I was kind of forced to be my own boss. I saw that there was a great need, and there was nobody fulfilling it. Here we were forced to kind of learn differently and do things differently, especially in the education space. And nobody could figure out how, because there was a whole lost population. So I'm an occupational therapist for a school district, and the special needs population is a population that does not have advocacy in the way that they need, and does not have advocacy in the way that they should learn in a telehealth space.
Mm.
And that's all new and forthcoming. And so there was just my space and opportunity to do some consulting and some education and to figure out how to bring those services to the special needs population in this specific time. And so I just saw the opportunity in the correct time and space, and I went for it at that particular time. But unlike Courtney, I wasn't trying to be an entrepreneur. I was a-okay being an occupational therapist, because that is my calling. Occupational therapists help people figure out independence, and that is what I do. Like, if you are injured, if you have disability, if you have um, any issue that prevents you from living your daily life, and I can help you regain any of those roles, then that is what I do. And so waking up every day and knowing that I bring life back to people's lives, that's my calling. And so that's what I do. The entrepreneurship just came on top of that.
Well, I would like to thank you so much because I know you have to jump off. I'll give you a few seconds to get yourself prepared. But thank you for being one of my first epic leading women on Salad and Fries. And when we get on that Gail King stage, don't forget you'll be on that stage too, because we're gonna do this show again.
Listen, I am there.
But before Angel goes, I just have to say, like, for me, this is so amazing. So to all of the viewers of Salad and Fries, I just have to say, these are 3 of my babies. Like, yeah, they were all my undergrads. And so to see you doing so well, blazing trails just for so many other people to look up to. And you guys know that sometimes we go to work, right? Because we all have things that we do, and it feels thankless, and you have days that you just want to throw the shoe at the door, and I'm not going back in, not donning those heels anymore, and I don't want to take it. Just moments like this for me makes it all worth it. And so thank you so much for
thank you. This is everything. This is everything. Courtney, I haven't seen Courtney in, well, I won't date us, right? But
it's been that long, girl. It's been that long.
You know, folks are doing this like, wait,
I know,
right?
Right. I will not date us. I will not put a year on it. Years are creeping up, but it is amazing to see you each in your own professional space and doing so well. So thank you, Centron, for allowing me to come on Salad and Fries. I am an avid viewer and a big fan, and now a guest. So thank you. And I'm going to gracefully exit so that I can go to work. So thank you, guys. And
thank you.
Thanks.
I'll talk to you later, Angel.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye. So here you go, and we're down to 3. 3 amigos. Here you go, Courtney. You can readjust. So, Yakima, do you do stuff on your own?
Columbia stories coming out. I hear.
So go ahead on and tell us what are the factors that led you to becoming your own boss? Because I was going through that resume, through your bio. I said I can't read all of this.
Well,
for all 3 of y'all.
What did I tell you? I said, shorten it as you see fit. You know, I have the bio because people say you need it, right? They want to see it. I can't get entry into certain rooms without the bio, right? So the
Correct.
bio is only there. One, I'm getting up there in age, so that I don't forget some of the things
Okay.
that I've done.
Mhm.
And often there are other people that remind me, well, remember you did this, and then you did this, and then
Yeah.
you did this. But it's who cares, right? Like the question is at the end of the day, am I doing the thing that God put me here to do? And
Mhm.
so that's why I said to you, cut it up as you see fit. It doesn't bother me at all. Now, our very good friend, Dr. Deneen Fleming would say, you did all of this, and so it all needs to be read. You
Yeah.
know, so I'm like, yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
But you know, Courtney will tell you because I think Courtney probably has known me the longest and knows me the best in that she'll tell you, I've said for years, I don't have a problem working for the man. I am okay with that. I never, right? Because I like a guaranteed paycheck, okay? I never had aspirations ever of working for myself. I always saw myself working within systems to make it easier for other folks that were coming up through the systems.
Okay.
I think to your point, my mouth made room for me to be my own boss, right? There were people that said, oh, you want to come over here and talk to us? We'll pay you to do that.
Mhm.
Oh, you want to do that? You know, I think the first being my own boss that I did was, you know, coming out and doing radio and theater. But once I realized that that was such a, honestly speaking, chase your check, chase your check, chase your check, and long periods of, I don't know. Was saying to my mother, I don't want to be anybody starving anything. I am not a fan of that at all. Like
Mhm.
I'm a thick girl. I like to eat. So therefore, I was like, nah, this isn't for me. However, I do thank God that my gifts made way, right? Came back around for Wired for Success. Wired for Success would not exist if it wasn't for the yous or the Courtneys or the other people of the world that call me and say, Courtney's cousin, let me be clear. Shout out to Scooby, Audria Pendergrass Lee, who will to this day still call me and go, Kimi, I need to fly you here to get my whole wardrobe life together.
Mhm.
I need you to do the whole image consultant thing on me, like break it up. This is the new role. This is what it is. This is how I'm feeling. I'm going to such and such event. And I'd be like, no, you don't have to fly me. Like, it's me. And she's like, I need to pay you. And you need to learn how to accept payment for the things that you're good at. So
Mhm.
honestly speaking, it's the people like Audria, like Denise, like
Yeah.
Willette Burnham, people who
Mhm.
have said, stop letting people get it off for free,
Free.
Mhm.
Correct.
right? Deneen Fleming looked at me one day. I just happened to be in Charleston. This is when I was executive director for another organization. And I said, hey, I have a meeting at MUSC today. I'm going to meet at, I think it was Charleston Promise neighborhood first, and then I have a meeting at MUSC. She said, why are you meeting over there? I said, I really don't know. They just asked me, you know, if I come. And so I said, sure, I'll come. And both of those meetings, interestingly enough, as I was sitting in the meeting, and I think at this time, Courtney might have actually been doing some work for me because I was sitting in the meeting and I said, they're not asking me anything about the organization.
Mhm.
They are asking me my opinion. They wanted my guidance on some things that I was doing. And I went across campus and I said, hey, I'm on campus. Just, you know, I wasn't going to leave campus without seeing you. And I promise you, I had not said anything about the meeting. And she looked at me and said, and how much of your intellectual property did you give away for free today?
For free.
And I could say nothing because I had just been going, like, I just had these 2 meetings. I drove all the way from Columbia
Mhm.
to Charleston for these meetings, and it had nothing to do with the organization with whom I work.
Mhm.
Who wanted to know, well, how do I break into this space? Or how do I break into that space?
You pay someone like me.
Right.
But it's also sorry to interrupt you on that one, but when you get to those things happen before, because you don't always realize how great your gift is.
Yeah.
You're just appreciative somebody else wants to hear, and you're also shocked. You're like, you want me? Oh. And then, but after like that 10th time of, oh, you want me? It's like, and it's
The
not
light
the 10th
bulb.
time the same person or same organization, it's the 10th entity of it, then it shifts.
Yeah.
I mean, and that happens it still happens in entrepreneurship. I mean, it happens when you're in those spaces and outside of them. So that's all. I just wanted to add that to that.
But it's so funny that y'all are saying this, because with me, I've had to learn, Centron had to learn how to, I can see the ship on fire, ship burning,
Yeah.
okay, sinking. I'm sitting over here, let me go on by my business. Because they didn't ask, they didn't say, they didn't say nothing.
Right. Not that they didn't ask, because they do, or they don't ask. You're right. They'll just give you enough of the story.
I get a lot of, well, what do you think about? And I'd be like, I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that response.
Yeah.
I had a friend that said to me once, you know what, King? You have to learn to stop asking questions. And I said, what? People bring you to whatever. When you ask the question, it makes you responsible for whatever comes out of their mouth. And so if whatever comes out of their mouth is, well, what do you think about? Or can you help me with? And so now folks go, I had somebody reach out to me, and y'all know this is not me. Somebody reached out to me a few months back and said, do you know of any apartments or anything for rent in the area? Because I have to move quickly. And I said, oh, I'll keep an eye out and let you know. Now, how do the two of you know? How hard do you know it was for me to not go? Well, do you need anything?
Yeah.
Well, y'all know that is not my way. I wanted to be like, you okay? And I was like, don't ask the question. Because if you ask the question, you become responsible for whatever the answer is. And that's not to say that there aren't times that we should give,
correct.
We're not saying that we don't give back, right?
Correct.
We are people that all give back. It is to say that I've learned to stop being taken advantage of.
We recognize when it's best to invest.
Oh, I like that.
That's nice.
Because that's how I had to learn how to do it. I had to recognize, like with me in this show, when I send you the package, at the top, it says, I want to thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of Salad and Fries. Payment, free. I put it up in front. If you want to do this, you can. Because for me, I'm like, this is the foundation of my show. And when I need to bring everybody on my show who's ever worked with me in event planning, I always tell people, work with me, trust me, work with me, trust me. At some point in the future, you'll get paid. And I said this on the show before. Event planning was like this, and then it took off. And I was like, how much you want to get paid? And they're like, you paying? I'm like, I told you, hang out with me. I got you. So it's just like with this show. It's like we learn when we need to participate in something. And we're like, okay, let me participate. But then at some point in the future, it pays off.
That's true.
And we're just learning how to not always give of ourselves, which is why I'm very particular on who I ask to be a part of my show. Because I'm like, you know what? I need to have people a part of my show who have invested in me. I've invested in them. And I'm hoping that this show gives them a return, because each of you have a talent that other people can use. Which is why after the show, I put all of your information on the website so that people can be like, oh, this person was on their show. They do this, 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 and this. Connect with them.
Yeah.
It works. So we're going to keep it rolling, because I will go down that rabbit hole. I'll go down that rabbit hole. So Yakima, tell us like one of your biggest areas of opportunities for improvement.
Well, y'all know.
I think we just talked about it.
Because I mean, you both know it's counterintuitive to who I am as a person. And I always tell people, knowing your worth, right? It's a beautiful platitude. Being a giver doesn't mean that you don't know your worth, But
Correct.
what I will say, as Black people, we also have not always been in position to own our own things, such that we know really what our worth is. So we don't know what folks really make out in these spaces. And so then when someone asks you, well, how much do you charge? We don't know. We're whatever you want to give me. We're underselling ourselves. We're undercutting ourselves. And so one of the things I continue to do as I move along, how much should I be paid for this? How much should I be paid for this? And at some point, like you said, it all comes full circle. I remember Courtney calling me saying, how much should I ask for this? How much you want to know? 2 years ago, I was calling her when I was taking my first political gig and saying, well, how much should I ask for that? Well, depends on what, and her saying, I know you well enough to know you don't want to do this job, but you do want to do this one. This one pays this and this one pays that. And so, it's all a learning process. It's all a learning process. And I'm just learning. I ain't got to know it all. There's somebody that knows one, even if I have a big amount.
Courtney, what is one of your biggest areas of opportunity or areas of improvement?
So I would say that it is probably, I'm working on it now. I feel like I'm much more of an active, that's it. Our area of opportunity is being an active participant in my life.
Okay.
Like I do a lot of things in my business, in my giving, my community service, in my family. I'm a giver. I love it. I do. I get worn out from it sometimes. So, and then, I look up and I'm like, wait, I did all that. I didn't enjoy not a bit of it because I didn't participate in it. Didn't get to enjoy the enjoyment that everyone else got. I mean, whether you talk about event planning or you talk about, I go find other people contracts or, only thing I don't do is babysit people's kids. That's not my
They in my ministry.
They in my ministry. Now I'm gonna sit with you and I'm gonna love you, but I don't want to keep. You need to come on back. But either way, for that, it's being an active participant. And so, an area of opportunity that I'm really, really working on right now is enjoying the moments, both big and small. Like not waiting for it. I'm doing what I want to do, when I want to do it, and how I want to do it. And I welcome some to join me on that, and others you'll find out when I'm done. So, because you got to know where people pull from your energy or where things will pull from your energy. And they don't always, everyone doesn't always come with the same intention that you need or desire for that. So you got to, I protect my space and my energies. I'm much better at that than I was, a decade ago. And definitely, many years before that. So I gave it all, but that's an area. So being an active participant. And really enjoying it.
About desire, one of my colleagues, one of my current colleagues said to me, we have got to learn to stop projecting our intention on other people.
Correct.
So we're projecting our good intentions on other people.
Oh yeah.
Is Courtney, now I said this on a previous show, especially when it comes to, we get very caught up in our craft. I understand the entrepreneurial mind because for us, what goes through our mind is, I want to do. Ooh, I see this project over here. Let me go do it. And we give. And as you said, like, you don't enjoy it because oh my gosh, I did all that stuff and didn't recognize it because you were so caught up in it.
Yeah.
But I started learning, Centron, you have to enjoy this project, not regardless of what it's paying. Because if it ain't paying a certain amount, I'm just not gonna do it. Let me just be clear. It ain't enjoyment. It ain't speaking to my personal enjoyment. It ain't speaking to where I'm supposed to be. The math ain't math, and so
math. I was thinking the same thing.
The math ain't math, and so my universe not connecting. Okay, let's be clear. However, I've learned that when the math is mathing, I connect to the project more, I give more to it, and I don't feel so depleted at the end.
Yeah.
But then I also learned you have to have a circle that is consistently pouring into you also, because there are going to be moments in which other things and people are going to pull from you, but our circle has to be pouring into us, or we have to be pouring into each other consistently, especially right now, because these last 2 years, I can't speak for y'all, but I don't know if y'all been seeing my post, but I done gave my full-time employer, girl, you got 2 more years, honey. You done played in my face enough, girl. The disrespect is real. You done played in my face enough. You done woke up the entrepreneurial beast. Now she been sleeping,
Right.
but she done woke up.
Come on, Nessie.
Right.
So I'm just saying, you gotta make sure people are pouring into you. The moment I started talking to people about some of the projects that I'm working on, and some of the things that I haven't released publicly yet, folks like, we was waiting.
Right.
One of my friends tells me every day since I moved back to Atlanta, she said, so when you quit in Delta? I'm like, oh, no, baby, no. When I said my employer name, I said, no, I'm not quitting. She said, okay, well, when you ready, you just let me know. Her husband was like, hey, I got a business deal for you. I said, say less.
Right.
I was taken to dinner last week with a previous boss. The man said, hey, I have a business deal. I said, that's why you brought me to dinner? He was like, yeah. I was kind of wondering why we was coming to this expensive restaurant and why you said, order whatever you want.
Oh.
He's like, hello? He's like, no, this is what I need you to do. And I was like, these people pour into me.
Yeah.
And these are projects that I would like to do because I don't feel like I will be depleted.
Right.
So I'm very mindful on who I work with and what I do.
You have to protect it. And I'm fortunate. I get to choose the work that I do.
Hello.
Right? Like I'm not in a position, and I haven't been for a long time. And Yakima remind me, I had 1 year out of almost 17 years that I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. 1 year. And it didn't last a full year. And I went into it going, okay, now here are the parameters. And when it started to creep out of that, it was like, nah, this ain't for me. Because I knew what I needed, but I was exhausted from the other parts of it. And that was a few years in. And it really, really was more about not having clients pay what they should have been paying.
Yes.
Letting them slide on a late payment here. You know, my phone bill due on time every month, and car note, and mortgage. You know, like, and you let other people slide. But anyway, that I get to choose my work. So now, and I tell it to people who work for me, people who work with me. Like, if you're not, I ask them going in, is this something you're interested in? If it's not, you need to let me know. I'm not trying to keep you here. You can work on something else. This may not be the project. And I can sense when people are just anxious because they think, oh, it's going to be a good check. And I'm like, no. Because you got to do it for the money, but you also got to do it because you actually enjoy this type of thing.
Correct.
So, and let me be clear, you know, life is too short to do things that don't make you happy.
Yeah.
Correct.
You know, Courtney knows, previous employer, when I tell you folks tried to get me to leave and to leave and to leave and to leave, and this is the employer, you know, we worked together at this place at one point and leave. And why do you stay there? And I believe in the work. I believe in the work. I believe in the work. And the thing about believing in the work, when you are a person that can say it is wholeheartedly not about me, but about this work, you know, I always tell people love covers a multitude of sins, right? Love is the thing that allows us to forgive. So that's why I tell folks, and you know, she's heard it enough. Don't, and I think I've told you this too. Don't tell your family about how your love interest not hurt you too badly, because your family doesn't love them.
Correct.
Your family loves you. And so when you are over that hurt, your family is still looking at them with a side eye, like.
Correct.
And insert them.
I don't like
your job, your friend.
Exactly.
Insert them.
So, right. So now take that same thing. It's the same thing about work or the project or whatever. it is the love that allows me to overlook the late night, or you know what, it's been y'all remember that time when I was working at the college and beating faces with Matt? Y'all remember that? I would go 45 days like, Lord, I have not had a day off in 45 days. But I loved it. I loved it. And so it's that sort of thing, right? If you love it, it's not really work.
Correct.
You put in what you got to put into it.
I think though, I mean, and I'm probably dragging this question out a little bit, but I think that, you know, when I graduated from college, or Citron and I graduated from college, let's back, we went into college, we went in with a lot of hope, right? And it was, oh, I can be whatever, I can be this, I'm going to do this. You just knew you could have it. Halfway through college, you know,
that reality.
No, well, we had 9/11, and it completely shifted.
Y'all remember
what our ability to hope was outside of that, because we were literally in a war zone for, you know, the second half of college, or in a war for the second half of college, and everything was so uncertain. I still know people who never were able to use their degrees that they're still paying for now. So even to get to the love and the hope, like, it's so many people who don't have that and are just now getting to that I'm like, just hurry up, just do it. Take the chance, go do it.
Go do it.
It will be fine. It will be fine. So yeah, but it didn't happen. It happened. I watched some people have it gradually. There are a few of us that were like, you know, I'm just going to do it. And then there are others who didn't get the benefit like Yakima did, to actually find something you loved and to find it over and over again. You found a few things you loved, you know, and that's a special thing. A lot of people don't get to have that.
That is so true. With that being said, Courtney, what's your most rewarding successes?
Ooh, my most rewarding.
You wake up and be like, "Ooh,
I'm so fat.
I work for myself."
No, some days I'm like, "Ooh, I work for myself." But most days I'm happy about it. My most rewarding success is that I get to, about every 5 years, I have a shift in my business, a shift of focus, right? So I started out in education, doing the same type of work, but in different industries. And then I moved into tourism. Then I moved into and still doing, you know, outreach and engagement and all these things. And now in the space that I'm in now with targeted marketing outreach, my most rewarding thing is I can shift. And who's gonna tell me I can't? Like,
who gonna check you, boo?
Who gonna check me, boo?
Like, it is, and I don't generally walk around like that, but every now and again, you know, I'm like, no, it's good. We're fine. And I live like that. And I encourage others to be that way. And, you know, I have to remember sometimes that that's not everyone's reality. But I'm also like, why not? We can fix that. Ask me how. I'll show you. Like, you know, it's so that is definitely at the top of that list. I could probably run a few other things, but that's at the top, that I can, you know, I can shift when I need to and how I need to. And, you know, I'm a planner, so I don't do it like suddenly. But it happens. And so
I'm here for it. Yakima.
Y'all. And not just you guys, right? I think about you. I think about so I could say, okay, when I was over this site expansion for Ed Access nonprofit, that there were 3 different regions that I was able to launch, 3 or 4 different regions I was able to launch. And I think about the kids from those pilots, right? Kids that, you know, I think one young man, we went to a workshop and I remember he was concerned because, like, literally a friend had been shot just on his way out of town. And it was like, when I go back, you know, like my uncle's a pimp, a literal pimp. Both parents my dad is dead, who was a drug dealer. My mom is in jail, right? Like, when you sit and think about those types of environments that you're pulling somebody out of for 4 days, just for 4 days, and saying, give me 4 days, and I promise you, it'll lead you to 4 years. That'll lead you to your life,
Mm-hmm.
right? To your life. And now I go, and this one's a PhD,
Mm-hmm.
and this one's an attorney, and this one is, like the way so far surpassed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything that I have ever accomplished. And so for me, that's it, right? If I ever wonder, God, what did you put me here to do? That to encourage people to walk in their greatness.
To produce us.
That's it. That's it. To I whispered in people's ears at the end of workshops for years. I would hug kids and whisper to them, now go walk in your greatness. Go
Mm-hmm.
walk in your greatness. I would say it for years and years and years, to the point that I found out, somebody said that one of my former students didn't know how to take it when I was pregnant with the twins, because he said, well, what does that mean for me? And they said, what do you mean? Well, I was her baby. I was her baby first. Myself. And there are a whole bunch of other babies before you that are like, we were her babies.
Okay. Get in line.
So when I say that, for me, that is I have never for that regretted the day that God said, come on up out of radio. It's not for you. And like you said, I can talk. This radio Oprah life is not going to be for you, boo. I have something else for you.
Well, I think you were speaking to the masses, like doing that, but then when you came out of it, you were able to touch the masses, and I think that was the difference. It's the same. You trust me, use the same voice. I heard it all the time. Lots of messages, lots of good talks, good laughs, good times, good encouragement. But you get to do that, and it's nice watching you be able to do that.
So, Yakima, since with everything that's going on with you, how do you balance work, life, and love? Let's get into that.
I don't. I don't. And you know what? Lies to all the people who talk, like, let's have a real Women's History Month moment. Lies and shame on all the folks that tried to tell us we could have it all. They lied. We can, not in the ways that you think, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am a 48-year-old, never been married woman. You heard me mention the twins. It's because at some point I said one of these things has a time limit, right? The kids have a time limit. The husband, if and when, maybe, sort of, I don't know if I'm coming or not, that doesn't have a time limit unless I put the time limit. Exactly. So what I wish that my mama and them and everybody else has said is, you cannot have it all. Yeah. Because when I think about the route that I had to take to parenthood and becoming a parent at 37, I want to snatch everybody that has yet to hit 28 and go, this is the time. This is the time. Your eggs will never be better than they are now. Like, you really want to say that? You wonder why our grandparents had so many kids? Because they were fertile. They were fertile. It's not just, great. Yes. I know I'm joking. Obviously, right. We've got many more educational opportunities and job opportunities, but our grandparents were also more fertile. And so we've got to really figure out that, okay, is it the job? You're going to pursue the job to the exclusion of everything else, and then wait to become a mama? Or even our men. I wish people would stop making Black men think you got to have it all. I got to have it all together before I can propose to her. Stop. Because while other races are building wealth together in their 20s, Black men are waiting. I need the house. I need the career. I need this. I need that. I need the next thing. You need all of that. And in the meantime, you have women like me and a lot of my counterparts who are the largest unmarried segment of the population, right? Like unmarried, never been married. I know a lot of friends, not only never been married, in a lot of cases, me included, spent most of this time not dating.
Mhm.
Not because there is not a desire to date, but because prospects don't present themselves.
But we all trying to get everything.
Everything, all of it. And then spend your time telling me you know what, you too intimidating. You know what? You need to lower your standards a little bit. That's why you got too much mouth. That's why you single now. No, because the brother that's coming from me is so comfortable in his skin and his maleness and his masculinity that me owning the fullness of my femininity does not make him quake in his boots.
Yeah.
Right? I am so assured that I am protected that I don't have a problem submitting to that.
Yeah.
Because I know that when you want me to submit, it's for my own good, not for
Mhm.
your own perverted reverse good.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
You know, so no, I can't. I would be lying to you to say that I could have it all, because it's a myth.
Well, you're balancing something, because clearly I know the twins stay busy.
Behavior. Yeah, I balance the swim, the equine therapy. You know, I mean, I have to do that. Why? Because I chose to parent them. And I was very clear that it's not about me. When I chose to become a parent, I adopted the mantra, it is not about me. It is not about me. And I have made huge sacrifices, to include at one point being separated from them. They lived in a different city from me for a year, where I went back and forth every 6 weeks, because not about me. They needed a full-time parent. And at the time, I was too busy doing some other things, and I could not be a full-time parent. So I traveled back and forth while they were with their father for a year. So it's still you think it's, be clear, what's the thing right now that's lacking? The love life is lacking. You was out there on salad and fries. Look, you don't need salad or fries. I'm a whole entree, Bob. If you know, there's something that is lacking, right? So, you know, I'm balancing what I do balance, but I am also clear that there are some things that are missing.
Yeah.
So, Courtney, how about you?
Well, I mean, I'll go with the point of you can't. It was fairy tale to say you could have it all, and I think that, you know, life has all kinds of great things that come at you, right? As much greatness as, you know, there may be a challenge in there, here or there. I'm been in a relationship for a long time, happily in a relationship, not married. But it wasn't necessarily because my business has been a highest priority for me. You know, I work like everybody else works. Like, I love my work, but you know, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to build this business and then I'll get married. Like, it just, you know, life happens how life kind of happens. And I did not get bit with the mommy bug, so I wasn't in a rush to be married either. I was just like, I want to have a good time. Priority number one. So and not just like party, have a good time, but I want to be able to enjoy things as much. And with building a business, you know, I always had a lot of pressure. I did not birth children, but you know, I have people whose lives and families depend on me getting up and going to work every day. So I still feel that pressure. But yeah, the having it all, it's interesting. And when I look at, I have lots of friends, men and women, who are not married, never married, and don't have children. And so when I look at that, you know, I think that, you know, we have all been sold a dream that doesn't exist. It's someone else's wish for their life. That if they could have it this way, they would, and they started pushing it on all of us. And we thought that was the truth. And then we got grown and we're like,
oh no.
Dang it. Like, that's just, you know, and I think what people say, the married people want to be single, the single people want to be married, you know, like everybody wants what they don't have. That's just how people operate. But again, I think it's a lot to have assumed that you can have it all. I think that you can have a lot. And I think that and on all places, you're going to have to make a sacrifice in some shape, form, or fashion. So, you know, leaning into, like Yakima said, Yakima and I, as you can hear and know, we are family, right? So even when she was pregnant with those twins, you know, I was not just little cousin, I was her friend that sat with her. You know what I mean? I was actually the friend when she went into labor too, I think.
And let your sister eat my Italian ice.
Well, I mean, you couldn't eat that no more. It was you had other things to do. Priorities. We read a lot of magazines, and you know, and because I, you know, had a business, I had that kind of flexibility. So,
yep.
you know, though I have not birthed a child, I have literally watched 5 be born. I could have passed on some of that, but you know, it's those things happen. So, but again, I talk a lot about happiness in the journey, but it is about that. I mean, I'm all about, and actually it's a little deeper than happiness. I'm about joy. And so joy definitely comes from within. And I think that I am fortunate to have all the things I have. I do basically what I want when I want. I get to spend time. I have an amazing nephew who, you know, I check in with him. He's 15 now. I check in with him every few years. Do you want cousins? Do you need a cousin? And he's like, do you want me to have one? And I'm like, I don't want you got to take care of me when I'm old. So I'm just trying to check in. I need you to remember these moments that I offered up this space. And he's like, no, we good. Let's move on. Right. Also, we planning a spring break trip. And so, you know, those moments happen. So I think they come in different ways.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it's really about at the end of the day. You can have it all. It just may not look the way someone else told you it was going to look, but you can still have the joy that comes from each piece of that.
So for my last 2 questions, the first one going to Courtney, you both can answer. Give a piece of advice to any woman, because we're specifically focusing on women for Women's History Month. Give a piece of advice to any woman looking to lead as you are.
Girl, do you. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about anybody else. Not your mama, not your daddy, not your siblings, not your friends. Do you. Do what feels right inside. You have to. I had an uncle who I have a tremendous amount of respect for. I called him when a friend of his who he golfed with called me about a business deal, and I was like, well, tell me about it. Is this like legit? Should I be? He was like, what does your instinct say? And I was like, well, my instinct told me to call you. He said, well, that's your answer.
That's your answer.
Like, and I was like, And that was probably, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 years ago. But that, I live by that. Like, I believe in that. So, ladies, do you and trust you. You are enough. When you show up, you have what you need. Be open to learning, but do you. Yeah. And find, to your point, Centron, about having people that pour into you. If the village you have doesn't believe in it, go find one that does.
Hello.
Right there, it exists. You know, there are people. Your tribe is out there. Again, I'm fortunate. I have people on top of people who love me, who check on me, who check me. You know what I mean? And they're like, too far. And I'm like, all right, reel it back in. But in general, they're just like, okay, like if she good with it, I'm gonna trust her and follow that. And when that happens, people will continue to be in that space. So trust yourself, do you? And if they don't like it, stop talking to them about it. Because also that you did it to yourself. Like, stop telling them they can't come for you. You gotta hold some of it in. So everybody don't need to know everything all the time. Right. So that's a lie in that one thing, but most importantly, do you?
Yakima.
I apologize. What you hear is the puppy at the door, mad he can't get to me because I barricaded the door to the balancing. I'm trying to balance this podcast at the same time. But the advice I would give, of course, what Courtney said, that's perfect. Number one, trust your instincts. And we always hear it more like we tell women to trust their instincts, but then we try to talk them out of what it is that they know when we disagree with it, right? Like at the end of the day,
or understand it.
Or understand it. Like imagine being a single Black woman in the South telling folks, I'm just gonna go make a baby. They were like, wait, what? Wait, No. Did you pray about this? Did you fast about this?
You married?
Did you pray? Well, where is he at? Well, it's going to be hard to be a mama. Well, maybe you should just adopt. So is it about being a single mom, or is it about, you don't approve of me just deciding to go make a baby and be pregnant? So, but we will often hear people tell mothers, like, trust your own instinct, right? That's, only place where that is worthy of being followed. So I think what Courtney said there is spot on. You've gotta trust your own instincts and know your worth. And so, to the point of knowing your worth, here's what I want Black people to learn more than we learn anything else. Stop being afraid to talk about money. Nobody cares what your salary is specifically, because what can they do with that information? Are they trying to wield it to hurt you? Are they Uncle Sam? Are you running from some outstanding taxes? Like, here's the reason I say that. Because we refuse to talk about money, right? The lady in church will tell your grandmama I got a package for her. I know the package is money. The lady knows.
You know what the package is.
Everybody knows the package is money, but we are still not talking about money. And because we refuse to talk about and share the pieces about the money, we are leaving an entire generation of people ill-equipped to negotiate, counter-negotiate, write a counter offer letter. They're taking the first thing that folks offer them. I can't tell you the number of times in my career I've had people say, I've never seen an offer letter this large. I've never seen an offer letter this large. Why not? Why not? I had somebody, I wrote a counter offer letter. I remember coming into that organization, the admin happened to be Black. And when I came into the organization, she jumped up and down and danced. She said, when I saw your offer letter come through, I said, come through, sis. Who knew that in the years of this organization employing Black people, I was the highest paid Black person walking through the door? Why? Because, be clear, it was not a lot of money. It's not like we were talking six figures at the time. I said, how is this possible? They're used to giving us what they think we should have. Correct. Instead of us listing and naming that. So have the money conversation and go into it. Do your research. Pull those 990s. If you don't know how to do that, I'm available to teach you how to do that for a fee. However, I can do that and teach you what you're looking for on that. So go into it knowing that. The last thing I'm gonna say to you, get you a network, and in that network should be a white man, because white men know how to have the money conversation. And if you haven't had one teach you about the backroom deals and the money conversations to which they have been privy, some of them since their kitchen tables growing up, you're leaving some money on the table.
Where did I say my business, or what did I say my offer was made last week? At dinner.
At dinner.
Because that's the first thing I learned when I was working at Merrill Lynch. Business deals are done on the golf course, the strip club, and at dinner.
Come on, Atlanta.
I'm just saying. Well, we are at that hour moment. I love the fact that I've had all three of you on. But my final question for both of you, starting with Yakima, is how do you see yourself as an epic leading woman?
It would have helped if I had read all the questions. Right?
It's okay, because this is a good one on the spot.
Okay, hold on. I stopped and started my cam because I saw it was frozen there. So I don't know what the audience saw, but I had to. How do I see myself as an epic leading woman? Lead with authenticity, right? Leading with authenticity, with style. Like it's not just the thing we say, style and grace. Style and grace is a real thing. And by grace, I mean be gracious to all with whom you come in contact. You never know who is watching you, nor do you know the deal that you are messing up for yourself by not being gracious. There was a man I was very into who was not gracious to a person at the counter at the airport. I never spoke to him again. Not just never went out. We never spoke again. Did you get home safely? I absolutely did. This is over for me now. And because if you can be if you don't know the art of being gracious and understanding that you have flaws and you have also made mistakes and that you will make mistakes and that there are people that you will inadvertently hurt, then you are not a person who is very self-aware. And so that's my key. That's what I would say about being, how do I do that? Be genuine, authentic, but stylish, gotta have a fair pair of shoes. Gotta have a wardrobe that is appropriate for you and what you're doing and your body image. And I can help you with that too. And you have got to always lead with love and grace.
Courtney.
So I agree with the authenticity part. To be epic or epic leading woman and to be who you are, you have to be authentically. You've heard me say this a lot about joy and you and instinct, but it's true. When you are unsure of in those spaces, you really aren't able to pour into others. You're just reinforcing where you're struggling, right? And so, but when you have that, you can pour into others to help you grow, right? So that's when pouring into others works in your favor. But I think you have to be authentic, and you have to be willing, always an open learner or open to learning, because there's a teachable moment just about everywhere, an opportunity to learn something. I will echo what Yakima has said about your network. When people say your network is your net worth, it is real. And as you grow and as you develop yourself, your network should elevate along with you.
Hello.
You cannot be who you are meant to be if you are always where you used to be. So you have to be willing to step into that. And to do that, you just got to go. Trust it. Go do it. And be cute when you get there. I agree with the style. So yeah, definitely do that. And then last but not least, in that learning moment, learn to not just be open to the experience, but to listen, because the people around you, they're telling you things. You want to hear that. You don't just need to make that be your only mantra. So do all those things, and you will be right where you're supposed to be. So grow, do, and enjoy all of it.
I am here for this. Y'all have made my night. Oh my gosh. This was much needed.
Thank you. We needed this.
Well, I am. So before we get off, because I love for the people to know how they get in contact with you. All of your information is going to be updated on the website. However, I want you to go ahead and share with them, starting with Yakima, how they can get in contact with you, what's your specialties, all that good stuff, so that they know why they're contacting you. Yakima.
Well, I've given you a couple of things. So when I say transition strategist, part of the work I do, because as Courtney and Centron said, naturally, I just seem to do it, is just help people figure out what is that thing that you're supposed to be doing and how do you do that well, and how do you market yourself, right, through image consulting, not just what you're wearing, but also, how do you sign off? How do you approach people? What kind of thank you notes do you do? All of that. What is your image and your overall brand? And then, of course, I am still on the speaker circuit. The way you heard it here tonight is probably a little more tame than some folks have gotten it, and that is just where my passion is to be able to pour into to other people and help folks stop pouring into leaky vessels, right? Because that's very, very, very important. So I can be reached. My organization, my company is, my overarching organization is Love Activists Inc. And I can be reached at yakima.s.rhinehart@gmail.com. That's probably the easiest one because it's my full name. And whatever you need, you can reach me there. And I'm also available on LinkedIn and on Facebook.
Miss Madam Young.
So if I can be of support in anyone who is looking, who owns a business or would like to be in business, that would like to be in the contracting space or figure out what they need to do to develop their business and with any entities in that way, that's really what I do. So my company does PR, does marketing, does project management. Entities hire us, as you listed very kindly in my bio, to help them outreach and engage to minorities, women, rural communities, faith-based, and all of that, and a few others in that targeted outreach space. So if I can be of assistance to anyone who is working on anything, I'd certainly be happy to have a call to see what we can do about that, or an email. So my company's name is Foresight Communications. thinkfsc.com is the website. And phone number is 803-261-4180. And email is always good too. So cyoung@thinkfsc. And of course, I'm on LinkedIn. Please connect with me there. Send me a message. Let me know this is how we met.
Yeah.
That's always good. And of course, the others: IG, Twitter, Facebook, all the above. So
I will have all of their information online. Nicole Green Stanford says, "I'm so proud of y'all." We love Nicole.
We
and
do.
Miranda Wood is amazing.
Little DP.
Yes.
Little DP, okay, Little DP. Miranda is amazing. Miranda
Hey,
has her
Miranda.
own company also. So
Yes.
I love the fact that Miranda was online. I'm loving that all of y'all are just epic leading women.
Yeah.
Miranda, Nicole, Yakima, Dr. Angel Bryant, as well as Dr. I'm speaking it into existence,
Yeah.
Courtney Young. Courtney said, all right.
Okay. We're going to go with it.
But I want to thank you all so much. I'm going to send you backstage for a moment so I can wrap up. But hang tight. I'll be with you shortly. But thank you both so much for coming on.
My pleasure. See you.
All right. Tonight was an amazing show. I want to thank each of you for tuning in tonight to Salad and Fries for our first epic leading women's night, celebrating Women's History Month here in the United States. I'm so happy that I've had each and every one of them on tonight's show. It was an amazing show. I hope you're able to gain a nugget or some nuggets of information. Please reach out to them. Dr. Angel Bryant had to step off a little earlier in the show. However, her information is going to be online as well for you to contact her for anything that you may need as it relates to her areas of expertise. Just before we close tonight's show, I just want to say, as I say every week, each of you are loved. Each of you are special. You are worthy of being here as well as worthy of having love. So if you're ever having a moment of doubt or darkness, just remember there are people who do love you and who do care about you. So once the show goes off, there is a phone number for the National Suicide Hotline, just in case you're having a few moments of insecurities or you just want to speak with someone anonymously. I just ask you just reach out to them or just reach out to me via my website at salad-in-fries.com, because there's always a listening ear. There's always somebody that's here that loves you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Salad and Fries. See you next week for our next show, which is going to be Pop Topics. Crazy Pop Topics. I know you like Pop Topics. I'm going to have none other than Mari Smith. As you all remember, he is the host and executive producer of Category Is, Dante Shannon, and the fashion and imaging just know all be all Tanika Schweitzer. Next week is just going to be a night of water cooler talk and banter. So don't forget, Tune in next week, March 28th, at 7 p.m. for Pop Talkets. Thank you so much for choosing Salad and Fries, and we'll see you next week. Bye. Uh-oh. Sorry.